36 minutes past the hour. This is Tim Ridley on Sirius XM. Kelly and Jackie are with us, and we'll be talking about retention, recruiting, and retention. Our number is 615-292-6366. Kelly, good morning to you.
Good morning, Tim. How are you?
Doing well. How about you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. Jackie, good morning to you.
Good morning, Tim.
Well, great to have the two of you on, of course, as always, and looking to get started with some more talk about recruiting and retention, and also some more suggestions, things that our drivers, our listeners, look for in being attracted to a company, what attracts them rather to a company, and not only attraction, but staying with the company. And then, I always go back when we discuss these topics. I always go back in my mind to my recruiting days, and I don't try to, but it just flashes up there, and we would talk about, have meetings, and well, what can we do more to attract drivers? And what one of the things I used to say is to let our drivers do the talking for us. But then we got to a point where it was all about money, and companies got on board with recruiting bonuses, not only for the drivers, who were, our spokespeople, so to speak. We would pay them a bonus for each person they would bring on, that we could hire rather, but also a sign-on bonus. We would throw money on the front end for people to look at us, to come on board. But dynamics have changed some over the years, and that's still a part of it, but I think it goes deeper than that. Kelly, I'll start with you. Do you feel that it goes deeper than just throwing money out there on the table for drivers to sign on with the company?
Most definitely, and I think that we're customers at recruiting new drivers is really being able to really showing everything that I offer. I know that you said word of mouth was a great tool for recruiting, when you were a recruiter, and that's the same still. A lot of the companies work with do word of mouth. Great.
Kelly, your phone is breaking up pretty badly.
Oh.
Yes, breaking up pretty badly, but maybe if you can move it, sometimes just move a little bit, it helps out. Let's try it again.
Oh, yep, is this a little bit better?
Oh, that's a lot better, yes.
Okay. Yeah, so what I was just saying is that a lot of our customers, do say that word of mouth is a great tool for recruiting. And it's all about showing the drivers the core values of the company and all the benefits that the companies have to offer, whether it's that sign-on bonus, the home time, whatever they do internally for a safety initiative. And that's why a lot of the companies are implementing a great social media campaign, because that essentially has become the new word of mouth. So, they're really able to show what the company's all about, the benefits that the company has to offer, what they do internally, and they're really able to make that connection with the prospects before they even apply. So, the social media really has become a great forefront for recruiting and the word of mouth. And, we just want to make sure that drivers are there looking for because it has, from our customers, we have seen, an increase in recruiting through these methods, and also want to hear, where else do drivers look for opportunities, and what kind of core values do they look for in a company when they are searching?
And Jackie, and that all makes sense, Kelly, it certainly does. And Jackie, what are you hearing as far as once you get the driver in the door, sometimes that can be easier than keeping that driver. So what are you hearing about companies doing to get a better grip on retaining drivers as well?
Yeah, retention's really huge and top of mind for every customer now. And there's so many different tactics that customers are trying, but the first piece is really being in constant communication with the drivers. Typically they have a 90-day span to make a really good impression about their company and their company's values. So a lot of companies are, again, implementing driver liaisons, which has been really, really successful with retaining drivers within the first 90 days. But even beyond that, they're doing different types of constant contact type of campaigns where they're emailing the drivers, they're calling the drivers to check in with them when they're out on the road, to see how they're doing, see if there's any type of concerns that they may have, so that the driver's voice is heard internally, because there's such a gap from the internal office to driving out on the road every day. So companies are really trying to take a strategic plan in building out a retention piece so that drivers are going to stay with the company. So it really comes down to communication and how that's being communicated to the drivers. So again, email marketing, calling the driver, texting the driver, however they need to communicate to the driver, they're trying to do that so that they can build a relationship.
I think that's a great idea, because so often that a driver will get into a company, go to a company, go through orientation, and they kind of get lost in the shuffle. They don't hear from anyone except for getting the loads and or whatever, and then they definitely hear if they did something wrong. But just checking up with them, saying, well, how are you doing? How are we treating you? Or how are things going? Makes a big difference, via email or texting, taking advantage of technology.
Exactly. And a lot of companies too, even in their retention campaigns, are actually surveying the drivers and asking them, how would you rate our dispatch department? How would you rate our onboarding? How would you rate our HR department? And so they're actually asking the drivers for their input, which I think is huge, and able to then take the drivers, survey across the board, and then work on their internal pieces internally, because it obviously all stems from the core values of the company. So that actually a lot of companies are adopting that policy in the last couple of months and have seen success, and it's given them a lot of different ideas to go off of to have a stronger internal team.
That actually works very good. When I was a truck driving school instructor, every graduating class, before they graduated, they had to fill out a critique, a survey, on each instructor. And after each class would graduate, we would have meetings and talk about this, discuss, what we can do better, what the instructors could do better, and so forth. So, it also keeps the dispatchers and the operations department, the human resources department, recruiters, it keeps everyone on their toes, basically, to make sure that they hold accountability, make sure that they are accountable and representing the company the way they should be.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it definitely has been a way to keep, like you said, everyone accountable in the internal team.
Yeah, it certainly does. We're going to pull over and take a break. Our number is 615-292-6366. What drew you to your company, and what keeps you at your company? And do you have any suggestions on how companies can do a better job as far as drawing drivers to their company, and also not only that, but keeping drivers at the company? A lot of our listeners have been with their companies for many, many years, and some for 20 plus years. So we want to hear from you as well. 615-292-6366. We'll be back in just a bit. This is Tim Ridley along with Kelly and Jackie on Sirius XM Road Dog Trucking. Kelly and Jackie are with us. Recruiting and retention is on the table for discussion this morning. Let's go to the phone lines, and Paul is our first caller, and he is in Arkansas. Paul, good morning. You're live on the show with Kelly and Jackie.
Good morning, ladies. How are you?
Great. Morning.
Well, I was recruiting and retention. You've got to start with recruiting drivers that are going to stay. You can't do that all the time. I drove for 56 years. The company has got to have your back in accidents and like that. You can't just leave the driver out of town. And I was with a chemical company, Quality Carrier Settle, out of Florida. I was out of Houston. We had dress code, no hair show,
think that's, essential for the drivers to feel that they are supported by the dispatch team regardless of the situation. Just knowing that everybody's on the same team and they're feeling supported, I think that's a key point.
Yes. And you can't tell who's going to be a good driver and who isn't going to be. You can have some shaggy looking thing who be the best driver in the country. You can have some guy that looks like he ought to be a driver and he's not worth the name. But the company needs, number one, if you've got the driver's back when he gets in a situation, you have got to show that driver you're behind him.
Yeah, that makes a big difference right there, knowing that the company supports you and the company has your back. But Paul, we appreciate you, buddy, and thanks for all you do. 56 years, that's a long time out there on the road. We appreciate you, my friend. Let's go to Lunchbox. Lunchbox is with us in Ohio. Good morning, Lunchbox. You're live on the show with Kelly and Jackie. Lunchbox? Okay, let me put Lunchbox on hold. He's busy right now. We'll come back to you, time permitted, Lunchbox. Let's go to Nightcrawler in Florida. Nightcrawler, good morning. You're live on the show with Kelly and Jackie.
Good morning, Dr. Ridley. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
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 I am going to completely agree with the previous caller, having the support of the drivers, because I've been thrown under the bus or the truck, as the case goes, by a safety person who just didn't even look at the facts, just, oh, this was your fault no matter what. And I wasn't with that company long, not surprising. But the company I'm with now, I absolutely love, because they actually gave me an estimate what I was going to make annually, and that's what they tell everybody coming in. And I'm actually going to end up making more, but they also have my back in other ways, where I'm over here in Florida. I got home time in just over a week, and I'm not concerned about them getting me home. I know they will get me home. So they actually...
That's another key point, the honesty.
Yeah, I mean, I am not concerned one bit about any of that, and I love them for that. But I also put my heart and soul into this work, and I miss my family dearly for it. But it's the lifestyle, and I'm hoping to make it work for me, and that's how I do it. Staying out a long period of time.
Yeah, and that makes...
I think that's a great point.
Yeah, go ahead, Kelly.
Feeling on. Yeah, I was just going to say, agreeing with the driver, just having the support of the internal staff and them being truthful for what they're saying, it makes his job easier and makes him want to work a little bit harder, because he knows they're going to follow through on what they promised, and so he's going to do the best that he could do. So I think that's a great company you're at there.
Absolutely. Well, Nightcrawler, thank you so much. We appreciate you, buddy. Be safe out there. All right, let's go back to Lunchbox and see if Lunchbox is with us. Lunchbox, are you there?
Hey, I'm here, Tim. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. Good morning. You're live on the show with Kelly and Jackie.
Good morning, ladies. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. Very well.
Yeah, go ahead, Lunchbox.
I just wanted to take a minute and say that as Tim knows, I'm new to trucking. But the first company I joined with is one that I plan on staying with for quite some time. All in all, they've treated me very well here. I have only one complaint, and it's that they never told me that I couldn't bring my cat. And it's not that they don't allow the cat, it's just that they require the cat to be declawed. And I personally refuse to do that to my animal for numerous reasons. But the transparency there, I don't know, maybe if it slipped through the cracks or what, but that's something that annoyed me, but not enough to make me go, oh, well, let's screw this. And another thing, I'd have to say, I have to agree with the other drivers as far as driver retention is standing behind the driver. Because, me personally, I don't know how it is everywhere, but I feel that a lot of companies, their office staff are not, they don't know what it's like to be out here on the road. I mean, all they see is numbers and dollar signs and things like that, and that's cool. I get that. That's the mindset sometimes. But there are also times, like for instance, us drivers, and I'm sure you guys know this, we don't get to go home. We don't get to go home to our family. We don't get to go home and take a shower, do laundry, stop for groceries all the time. And that's something that does need to be done, especially as an over-the-road driver. I mean, that this truck is our home. And I'm very fortunate that my two dispatchers that I've had, being here, have been very understanding in the fact that, hey, this is a need that comes up and it needs to be taken care of. But I've heard horror stories where the dispatcher's like, no, just get the load there and then do what you need to do. But it's like, well, if we're out of food and we don't have enough money to like eat on the road, and I've done the eating on the road game. It's unhealthy and it's expensive, excessively so. I mean, I would spend $200 a week alone just eating on the road, breakfast, lunch, and dinner type deal. So that's something I expect is just a little bit of time to like, hey, I need to do laundry, I need to take a shower, get some stuff to eat. And then having my dispatchers and other folks stand behind me on that is a blessing. And it's one of the reasons why I probably will stay with this company until I retire.
Well, that's great. It seems like you found a company that's kind of suiting all your needs, and I think that's sometimes very rare, as you know, in the industry. So, that's great to hear that the company is doing the right thing and communicating and valuing, the basic life necessities that you have.
Yes, it sure is. Lunchbox, I'm so happy. There are not many people that come out of truck driving school and want to stay with the first company that they get to. So that is a rarity, and for the most part, and it's a blessing that you're able to do that. So we appreciate you calling and sharing that with us, buddy, and you be safe out there. Let's grab Jim. Jim is in Montana. Jim, good morning. You're live on the show with Kelly and Jackie.
Hey, good morning, Jim. Your load's being offloaded right now, and we got everybody working. My brother got the key to the house, and just to let you know, I was a recruiter at one time. Well, I ran the company and I recruited the drivers and everything. And if you don't take care of your drivers, it's not about putting tails in seats. You got to have good drivers out there and at least be honest with them and say, hey, this is how we pay. This is how we work our vacations, and this is your time off. And if you don't have a good recruiter that will come out and tell you, and be honest with you about the company and tell you what's going on, then, to me, it's not worth going to the company.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Honesty is key, for sure.
Yes, it is. Yeah, from the beginning and all the way through, that's for sure. Well, Kelly, Jackie, always a pleasure, and thanks for all you do.
You too, Tim. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Tim. Have a great day.
You too now.